Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about a variety of topics, but this first topic, Tesla Model Y inventory is out of control. And I imagine if I was going to put money on it, we are going to see some bigger incentives on the Model Y, the old and busted legacy Model Y, and of course the Model 3 very, very soon. So we're going to get into that plus a variety of topics. But before we do that, let's roll that intro really quick. All right, so thanks for watching another stream. Thanks for watching another video. My name is Dennis, and I love talking about Tesla deal hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested, and definitely check out my Patreon link down below in the description where you can support the channel and get access to the ultimate Tesla buying guide out there with all the best interest rates for financing a new or used Tesla. And today's live stream is partnered with Mint Mobile, where you can save money on your mobile phone plan for as low as $15 a month, but more on that later. So our favorite topic is talking about Tesla inventory. Here's our handy dandy inventory tracking chart. And you can see there is a big inventory increase for just one model and one model only. And that is going to be the Model Y, and not the new Model Y. It's the old legacy Tesla Model Y that is already out right now, that is going crazy in inventory. We can see Tesla is showing us 14,000 older Tesla Model Ys available in inventory. And we're seeing this because last night, before I went to sleep, we're not at home right now. So you can tell we are in a travel setup and everything. And so I'll give you the reasons on since there's no live stream, you should be able to comment, and we'll respond to all the different comments down below and questions that you got. We responded to the past two of them or the past few days on all the different comments and questions that you got. But we also updated our deal spreadsheet the other day, and we saw, or at least last night for us, we saw bigger discounts. We're reaching new levels. These two are unfortunately already sold, but at least we've got some proof in the pudding here that was written $7,140 off a Tesla Model Y long range all-wheel drive. If you're wondering what sheet this is our deal spreadsheet that you can find down below in the description, where we keep track of all the best deals across the country that are available. And the beauty with these is that this is before the Tesla referral code, which you can also get down below in the description. That saves you an extra $500 to $1,000 off of a Tesla. And it works on a Model Y Juniper order as well. So if you're interested in placing an order, we do get a little bit of a benefit, especially if you're doing a Model Y Juniper order. But at least right now, here are the best deals that we're seeing as of just a second ago when I went to take a look. $5,830 off a long range all-wheel drive. And here's a performance, $6,260 off. And you got to remember, these are before the Tesla referral code deck of $500 to $1,000 off that you can get down below in the description. And here's what's happening, and I think this is my take on this. Of course, Tesla has to continue to sell vehicles throughout the next couple months. They've got to sell like the older Model Y, and they've got to sell the new one. And so that's why they launched this launch series, because they do not want to release that vehicle in waves. They got to sell all these older vehicles beforehand. And so certainly that's probably what's happening right now. Inventory has to be sold, and they still got to produce vehicles, but they can't just switch overnight to the new Model Y refresh. And so even though the Model Y refresh is still continuing to be released, they still have to sell these older vehicles. But the hype is there. At least the hype is there in one market. We've got this post, quote, a Chinese salesperson in the China market. They have confirmed that they've received over 130,000 orders for the new Model Y in China alone. I'm not sure the sentiment is there the same for the US market, but also we could be surprised. I don't know too many people that I know off the top of my head of all the people I talk to for Tesla. I know maybe one or two people that have ordered a new Model Y Juniper. And of course, price is the contention here. And it kind of makes sense, right? Because a lot of people that are in the Tesla ecosphere, they might have bought an old Model 3 or older Model Y over the past 2 or 3 years when the price was crazily high. And now they're underwater, just like how we're underwater in our Model X at the moment. And so not many people can just get out of their Tesla and pay the negative equity, whether it's $5, $10, $15,000. And even if you can, I was talking to a friend yesterday that they just got into an accident with their Model Y. We don't know if it's total just yet or not, but even then, he is still a little bit hesitant to get into a brand new Model Y because of the markup or the add-on that you have to pay to get into one. But let us know, did you order a Model Y Juniper Refresh Launch Edition series or whatever it may be, or are you waiting for a deal on one? And I think a deal on one may come sooner than we are thinking. I'm not sure Tesla is going to release a Model Y Juniper Launch Series discount just yet because they still want to sell some of their launch editions. And so that ETA date for that is going to be, of course, March for deliveries, but I bet they run that for at least 1 to 2 months, because if they don't deliver that launch series quick enough, I feel like if they release a non-launch series, there'll be a lot of people that will just switch from launch to just a normal one. So I give it at least 2 to 3 months of a launch series edition for the new Tesla Model Y. But shout out to Troy for posting this. Based on my calculations, quote, Tesla global inventory was around 77,000 units at the end of Q4 2024. And to give you some relative math, I mean, they were as high as 143,000 units in Q1, then it went down to 109 and then 115. But you got to remember, during these quarters, especially Q3 and Q4 of last year, there were waves of 0% financing and other incentives as well. Now there is absolutely nothing. The only deal right now that we talk about is, of course, the lease interest rates, where you can get a better interest rates that better than 5.99 on select trims and select models, but not a lot of other deals as well. So we could feel, if we take a look at this projection, we could feel the burn that Tesla is feeling, and we could be at levels maybe 100K plus, $143,000 plus for the Tesla inventory, and Tesla is going to be feeling that. And of course, they don't want to muddy anything up before the earnings call, which is actually yesterday or today, depending on when you're watching this. And so certainly it could make a lot of sense what is going on here, and a lot of inventory ramping up. And so that's why Tesla needs to do something. And I think that something is going to be in the month of February. But let us know what your thoughts on it. Let us know what you're thinking. What do you think about the current discounts that you're finding out there? Are you finding anything higher than a $7,000 off discount? And a lot of you actually over the past quarter have been sending me deals. You've been DMing me deals of what you got, bigger discounts and everything. If you got a great deal this month, or at least you found a big discount, feel free to send me a DM with the screenshots and everything. I love to highlight it and all. Before we get into our next topic, I've been trying to save money lately, and that's why we talk about this channel, trying to get the best deal on a Tesla. And I've been looking at our subscriptions like YouTube Premium, Netflix, trying to figure out how I could save some money every single month. And cutting expenses, it's kind of hard. We've been trying to rack our brain together and figure out how. That's why I'm so intrigued with our channel partner, Mint Mobile. They offer premium wireless starting at $15 a month. And I can get high-speed data and unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network, and I can even bring my own phone along with my current number and existing contracts. I'm sacrificing nothing. I've used Mint Mobile a ton, and I switched my second line to Mint Mobile, and I've been using it to watch YouTube and play podcasts on our daily commute and haven't noticed any drop in speed. And I can't tell the difference. So how hard is it to switch service? Big Wireless wants you to think it's actually hard, but it's not at all. Switching to Mint is super easy thanks to digital eSIM cards, which most of you now have. You can sign up and activate immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your home. If your phone doesn't have an eSIM, Mint will ship you a new SIM card for free. So if you want to save little money without the sacrifice, go to trymintmobile.com/DennisCW, also linked down below in the description, to get premium wireless for just $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. Thank you to Mint for partnering, and let's get on to the next topic. Thanks for that, everyone. And as you can tell, we are not at home right now, so thank you all for jumping in on this live video. We will be responding to every single comment, every single question that you guys have in the comments. We're traveling for the next week or so, and so the live streams will most likely be coming back maybe this weekend as we get to a good settled place, or maybe of course next week when we get back to the live streams. But let me know, do you like this setup a little bit better where we can go through comments and everything, or do you like the live streams where you can interact with questions live? And I would imagine like both of them are good for depending on what times we're doing it. In this next topic, there's been an insane video that Tesla has released of full self-driving with their vehicles, their robots, as they like to call it, being driven off the production line from the factory all to their place into their dock lines ready for production or ready for transportation to you. So I can imagine we're going to see some crazy developments from Tesla in this space because if you think about it, they're the only manufacturer at this moment that is using this type of AI or this type of full self-driving to make their production lines more efficient. Think about how many humans of beings, if you don't know what's going on right here, Tesla vehicles are being driven from straight from the production line, being straight from being made to where they're going to staging areas to be picked up by transportation. And then if you take it to the next level, transportation, think of it like a semi like this. What if that was an AI being driven from location to location, from delivering from their productions factories to their showrooms? You can think the different levels here and where they can make cost efficiencies from this by essentially taking out the human aspect from this. Because think about how many drivers, how many people you need to be able to move these vehicles from point A to point B. And really, this is a crazy video to see it from this type of angle. And what's cool with this is that because this is already being calibrated from the factory, there's no longer if a temporary period. Because if you didn't know, when you buy a Tesla, full self-driving and autopilot don't work right out of the gate. You have to drive it for maybe a day or two before those features are actually usable because the cameras need calibration and everything. But now they're being driven from point A to point B within the factory lots like this. Full self-driving should be, in theory, ready to go when you, as a customer, pick it up from that. But here's an Elon post. Unsupervised full self-driving begins. That would be crazy to see it because we're basically in this moment, this in-between period before unsupervised and supervised or supervised transitions to unsupervised full self-driving. This makes you think now, like all these different lots with all these different gigafactories and Tesla factories, all these vehicles being parked like this. Who's actually doing the parking, and have they been doing this for a little while already? Of these cars being lined up or even adjusted by using the systems, the factory, full self-driving, and everything. But here's a post from Troy Teslike, one of our favorite X posters. Driverless Teslas operating at Tesla factories is definitely a step in the right direction. It could be great to see more progress in these areas. Driverless tests on public roads, data from Tesla showing progress towards a driverless robotaxi service, more clarity on when Tesla plans to release hardware 5, because of course there's always a new version, and the option for hardware 3 and hardware 4 owners to transfer full self-driving to a new vehicle when hardware 5 is released. And what about these new vehicles that are coming out? Because now we've got Juniper, but Tesla in one of the earnings call did say that there's more vehicles coming out as well. Here's a snippet from that. Plans for new vehicles, including more affordable models, remains on track for a start of production in the first half of 2025. And so we've got one vehicle being already released in the first half of 2025. But what is there maybe a Cybertruck rear-wheel drive, a cheaper version, or is there robotaxi, or at least a version of the robotaxi Cybercab that consumers can purchase? It could be a very interesting time in these next few months, and maybe we'll hear more about it during the earnings call, which is supposed to happen very, very soon as well. But let us know what your thoughts on it. Let us know what you're thinking of this crazy video. If you watch the whole full thing of this vehicle is being driven without a driver from point A to point B, and you can go crazy with all the different efficiencies, the cost efficiencies, which is good for us because if the price reduces on the production side, then hopefully Tesla can make it a better deal on the sales side to you and us as a consumer. But let us know what your thoughts on it. Let us know what you're thinking. We're going to jump into the next topic. In this next topic, insurance for a Tesla Cybertruck. Insurance won't pay for this accident that has happened. Now, we don't know if this is true or not, but let's take this as a lesson and talk about what is going on here if it is true. So here's a post that was posted on Facebook. That's where I saw it. But here's what happens. My quote, my Cybertruck was totaled by an accident. It was swiped by an e-scooter. All in, I paid $198,000, but insurance is only offering me fair market value of $77,000. I still owe the bank $171,000. Here's another edition of the post with a picture, but this picture was actually from an accident that was really early on with a Toyota Camry. So all in all, we can assume that this was probably a fake post at the end of the day. But here's what is happening here. And so it was delivered last January for an all-in $198,000. I paid a broker in California to find one and ship it to me. Their broker fee was $50,000 plus taxes and fee. Of course, back at that time, Cybertrucks were going crazy in terms of 200 to 250,000. So that could be believable. But the one thing, or there's a couple of things here that isn't believable. The first thing is Delivery $198,000. If you still owe $171,000, that means that the bank financed you over 200% of the purchase price of the vehicle, because at that time MSRP was $120,000. I don't think that's actually believable, because most banks wouldn't actually do that. The second thing here is 50K broker fee, that's fine, and 171K. I feel like a person, if someone were to do this, they would pay cash for it and would not finance it, unless they got some creative ways to finance it, which there are plenty of creative ways to finance something like this. Now, let's take this as a lesson to see what is going on here, and to hopefully educate some of you out there on how insurance works. The insurance only offering $77,000 in fair value. Actually, that makes a ton of sense, because insurance companies only, if your vehicle is total out, they only pay you out what the value of the vehicle is. Like if they were to take that same vehicle and sell it. Now, of course, that's a negotiation. You can go back and forth with the insurance company to try and get a higher value. You'll have to screenshot like cars.com and Auto Trader or auction values and see what to prove that insurance company that is what the vehicle is actually worth. But this is unfortunately how a lot of people, if they're underwater like this, they could owe money when there is an accident. And so that's why if you're buying any vehicle and you're financing it, you do want to get what's coverage, a coverage that's called gap coverage. Usually your insurance can offer it, or maybe your financing company can offer it as well. And relatively, it's a cheap, inexpensive insurance, maybe $200 to $1,000, but you don't want to be in this situation. But even gaps coverage wouldn't help someone in this situation. And the reason why is because gap usually has a maximum protection through it. It's usually like 125,000 or 125% of the vehicle's value. So, and in this situation, if the fair market value was 77,000, they would only pay 125,000 of that, and so they would still owe this much at the end of the day. But we don't know if this is a true story for now, true story or not. But take this as a lesson that if you're buying any vehicle and if you're financing a lot of it, like 120%, if you're putting like 20% down, then usually you're good enough and your payoff will be about the same value as insurance or whatever the insurance pay on it is. But also this is in situations when, knock on wood, you get into an accident and then the vehicle is totaled out and you owe more than what the vehicle is worth. But hopefully this makes a lot of sense to you. And if you're looking for insurance companies and recommendations, a Tesla insurance is usually going to be the cheapest. Next to that is going to be Costco, which we have currently. And of course, the list goes on and on with all these different insurances. And insurance, as we saw, is going to be more expensive than your normal car. So take that as a lesson as well. If you're going to be buying a Tesla, do expect 20 to 30% or $150 to $250 a month just for an insurance. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff with this post. Let us know if you got any stories or experiences with Tesla vehicles or insurance nightmares, I guess, like this, because it is a different game, a slightly different game than buying a normal vehicle. In this next topic, there was a brand new setting actually spotted in the new Tesla Model Y. We'll take this as a grain of salt because, these are demo vehicles that are being shown in the Model Y Junipers, and maybe this was a factory setting that could be taken away in the future. But shout out to Nick for spotting this in the new Model Y. There's essentially the same settings, but there is a new setting for the new Model Y that has a deceleration setting in the Dynamics tab. This was commonly known before as regen braking or a regen braking setting, and was taken away actually in Tesla vehicles about a year or two ago. But it seems like now it's back in the Model Y. There's a tab here that says deceleration, and it says you can reduce it or keep it at standard for how aggressive the regen braking is, which if you're driving a lot of passengers and people that aren't used to electric vehicles, this would be a great feature. But if you're driving yourself around, you actually kind of want it on the maximum regen so you can get all that energy back when you slow down to a stop. But here's the description. Adjust how quickly the vehicle slows when the accelerator pedal is released. This setting does not impact range or brake pedal response. Interesting. So actually you're getting the same amount of regen no matter what, according to what it says here. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. It would be interesting to see if this actually comes out or not. And the biggest thing I'm wondering is because the Cybertruck, when it came out, it actually didn't have autopilot or full self-driving. And so that was a horrendous car ride or road trip when we picked it up and drove from Austin to California. I'm curious to see if the Model Y has autopilot or full self-driving out of the gate. You would imagine it does, but you never know sometimes with Tesla. It could be coming out in a future software update. But let us know what your thoughts are. Let us know what you're thinking. We're going to jump into the next topic, In this next topic, yesterday we talked about the Cybertruck having a new high charging speed and being the Tesla's fastest charging vehicle that you can actually get at superchargers. We've got some real world data now. Shout out to Urander. And you can charge over 50% in 15 minutes using one of the new fastest 325 kilowatt superchargers. Here is a quick test from Urander. You can see they went to a V4 supercharger in Dunnigan, California, and they, of course, took their Cybertruck. They went from 14 to 56% in 15 minutes. They preconditioned and the arrival time actually pretty cold at 39%. They did it again at another supercharger. They went from 14% to 80% in 33 minutes, or I guess that same supercharging time, just a little bit longer. But that's pretty nice because around 20 to 30 minutes is about the threshold I like to be at superchargers because that's enough time to either pick up food, go to the bathroom, or do an errand or anything like that, or walk our dog because we usually take our dog on road trips. And so certainly this is a pretty cool stat, and I can't wait to try our super truck at or Cybertruck in one of these new superchargers at 325 kilowatts. But let us know, have you found any of these on your road trips yet, or have you experienced one? Because that's kind of the unfortunate part. Some of the V4 superchargers are a little bit far out, which is a good thing, I guess, if you're going to road trips into the great unknown or really far out. But let us know what your thoughts on it. Let us know what you're thinking. We're going to jump into the that's it, actually. Thanks for dropping in, everybody. Thanks for supporting. Leave any comments down below if you have any questions or anything. We will be responding to each and every one of them. Thank you all for watching, hitting that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.